Well, like I mentioned, we're focusing also on the politics and the campaigns that we're seeing across the country. And tomorrow, like my colleague Jeff Curry mentioned, NASA is heading on to Kiambu. And on the other side, Jubilee Party is heading to Machakos. And we just want to take a look at the statistics, just how the numbers are looking like. And we will start with Machakos County, where NASA will be touring tomorrow. Looking at the 2013 general election, just what went down. All right, we start with the presidency, and Uhuru Kenyatta was able to garner majority of the votes there. 367,238. Raila Odinga was following fairly closely there at 319,594. The total registered voters right now is 620,254. So not too much of a growth there, as you can see, compared to the last general election. Let's just take a look at the governorship there. And Alfred Mutua was of Wiper at that time. Right now, he's, of course, is in Maendeleo, which is his party. He was able to garner 257,367 votes. Wavinya Ndeti of CCU at that time, Chama Cha CCU, was 92,219. Then you have Anthony Wambua of ODM at that time, 5,460. So that's how the numbers were looking like at that time for governorship. Remember also, Wavinya Ndeti is also currently running for the same seat. This time around, things have changed. She is campaigning on the Wiper ticket. Looking at the senatorial seat there, Johnston Muthama of Wiper at that time was able to garner 251,407 votes, which was the majority there. Boniface Kabaka was following. He was from Ford People at that time. 78,659 was what he was able to garner. Leonard Ndamboki of DP was able to garner 22,759. So that is the senatorial seat at that time, back in 2013 general elections. Looking at the constituencies and members of parliament, Masinga, we had Benson Bai from Ford Kenya. Ford People, I beg your pardon. He was able to garner 12,754. Looking at the registered voters right now in Masinga, you have 61,989 voters there so far. Let's just move on to the next constituency. And then you have Yatta, and Francis Mwangangi of Muungano Party was able to garner 23,567. He was the winner back then. Moving on to the other constituency. All right, then you have Yatta still. You had Henry Kimiti of CCU, 434, who was the lowest at that time. And the number of registered voters right now, 73,940. This is a bigger number than what we saw in Masinga, where it was 61,000. Moving on to Kangundo, we have Maweu Katadha. He was an independent and was able to garner 10,978 votes. Then you had, of course, Charles Muli following there at 4,000. Titus Matiku of Wiper was able to garner 5,087. That is Kangundo. Also, Michael Mulunje, CCU, was able to garner 1,296. And then the registered voters in that constituency right now stand at 53,475. So far, it is the lowest in the constituencies in Machakos County. Looking at Matungulu, Stephen Mule of Wiper was able to garner 12,297. Let's just head on to take a look at the registered voters in Matungulu, maybe in the next board. Right, the registered voters as of this year, 66,611. So that's how the numbers are looking like in Machakos County. Moving on to Kathiani, you have Robert Mbui in Wiper, 21,754. Let's just take a look at the registered voters so far this year, according to IEBC. Maybe we can move on to the next board. Right, the number of registered voters as per now is 54,909. All right, so that is how Machakos County looks like together with the constituencies. We now want to look at Kiambu County. Remember, like I mentioned earlier, NASA leader or presidential candidate Raila Odinga is going to be heading on over to Kiambu tomorrow. And we understand from our reporter that today he's meeting some local leaders as to for planning purposes for tomorrow's tour of Kiambu. Looking at the president's votes there back in 2013, Raila Odinga was standing at 61,700. That's accounted to 7.89% of the total vote. Uhuru Kenyatta was able to get majority of the vote, 705,185, taking away 90.2% of the total vote. That is back in 2013. If things will change this time round, well, it is yet to be seen. Moving on to the governor position, William Kabogo, who is the incumbent, that time TNA, was able to garner 487,631, followed by James Nyoro of NAC, and then Charles Gikaria of ODM. They're garnering 27,987. Moving on to the senator, Kimani Njoroge, TNA, was able to garner 575,023. That was really the majority of the total vote, followed by Stanley Kigithunguri from Afar at 73,709. Let's move on to the next one. Of course, George Njao, NAC, 49,000. And then you have Solomon Mugo of ODM, 29,912. That's how the race looked like back in 2013. This is for the senatorial seat in Kiambu. Let's take a look at some of the constituencies and the members of parliament. Gatundu South, we start there. Francis Njenga of TNA was able to garner 24,866. The total registered voters this year, as per IBC, stands at 67,598. All right, moving on to the next board. Let's take a look at the next constituency there. And then you have Juja. Francis Waititu of TNA was able to garner 40,801. And then looking at the registered voters, quite a huge basket there, 114,761 in Juja constituency.